Hey, good evening, family. This is JD with the Stock Scouting Report. On behalf of Trader Mo and myself, we want to thank you for jumping on board and moving in for the October edition of the Stock Scouting Report on penny stocks, innovators under $10. And let's talk about penny stocks. Trader Mo and I have historically shied away from penny stocks just because of the volatility, the risk factor involved, and a lot of times there's a scam element in there. And so what we decided to do is to focus on helping you build a process, and the process will allow you to gain more confidence when you analyze these penny stocks. Because a lot of times when we come in as new investors, new traders, we're operating with a smaller account size, and the most attractive opportunity happens to be those stocks under $10 or even under $5. And we're thinking, if I get in at 25 cents, what happens? If I get in at 25 cents, they said this stock, the liver drug is supposed to pass, or this particular company is going to work on. They're going to have drones over and able to deliver medicine and whatever the pump and dump is on some of these. And I'm very skeptical of the majority of those, but it's a charismatic email blast, or now you'll go on social media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, uh, Instagram, and it gets momentum, a lot of momentum. And if it gets on Robinhood or Reddit, there's a chance for it to take off. And what happens when it takes off, if it's legit, I'll show you the chart. But if it's legit, it'll get a pop and it'll have a retest of a previous level, then it'll kind of level off back to its original trajectory. But what we want to do, Mo and I can't promise riches, can't promise millions of dollars, but we can promise that you will have an improvement or an increase in confidence. And that's the key to, I guess, investing on your own, or trading on your own, is to have the confidence to place that trade or to vet that stock, or to actually to pass on the trade, even though it's in the the chat room with the group that you trust, and they are really, everybody, we're making all kind of gains, we're getting gains. Well, a lot of times the first few in will get those gains, but the market's going to get it back if you don't have a process in place. So that's what we're working to provide for you. I wanted to go over a few stocks tonight. I just got off the road. I wanted to show you how there's different analysis styles. Mo has his, I have mine, but we're on the same page for the majority of it. But the reason I'm saying that is that you can add your own personality into your investing, into your criteria. If it doesn't meet that check mark, if it doesn't meet this particular uh, set of checks, it's a no go. So let's just take this for instance right here. 5 stocks on Robinhood taking off in October 2020. Okay, cool. We roll down. Talks about penny stocks, small caps. Here's an ETF that you can pay attention to. The VBK report and IWM, and that's a Russell 2000. That's a small cap. I follow that. It kind of tells you the trend as well. It's a good one to keep on the IWM is a good ETF to have on your watch list or your bar when you have the Dow, the Nasdaq, the SPY, S&P, gold, Bitcoin. Have the IWM on there as well. Now let's take a look at these right here. Aileron Therapeutics. We can go through the vetting process. And now, one of the ways I use Investors Business Daily, but for the free route, we're going to go this route. Let's go to Yahoo Finance. When you get to Yahoo Finance, it'll start at the summary. You have the previous close, it closed at $1.62 today, up 29 cents. Okay, that's a nice pop, 21% pop. Has a lot of press, I guess, because if it's on Robinhood, it's getting a lot of momentum. So what we're going to do, we'll go here. What I like to know, who holds this particular stock? Who are the holders? What's the percentage of institutional investors? So I'll scroll down major holders. The percentage shares held by all insiders. So we have the inside buying, but only 16.29% of shares held by institutions. So it's not heavily invested by institutional investors. So we scroll down to see who we see on the list. If we recognize some of the names, sometimes I look for BlackRock. Vanguard is one that I know. I'm sure Mo knows quite a few of these top mutual fund holders. And I'm looking for, I want something to jump off this page at me. And then, and it really doesn't. In comparison to, let's go, I've been on this one for several weeks. This was a penny stock when we first started working on the stock scouting report, and in the recent weeks, it's gone from $2.20 up to $13.21 over a 52-week period. Average daily volume 3.1 million. So let's look at the holders. Excuse me. So only 4.33% of shares held by insiders. So when a lot of insiders are holding shares, now this is something we can investigate and do a deep dive into, but I always get concerned about heavy insider trading, buying and selling, and are they going to cut their shares? Are they going to cut bait if this stock spikes really high and they pull the rug out? That's a concern of mine. So very low percentage of shares held by insiders. But what jumps off the page is look how the percentage compared to I think 16% for Aileron. Pacific Biosciences is in the same sector. 87.94% held by institutions. So heavy institutional buying. That's showing this. That's where we follow the money. The money's going in there, in this particular company, and the companies are BlackRock, ARK Investment. Vanguard was on the other group as well. State Street. We know these names. Kite Lake Capital. Go down to the top mutual fund holders. Vanguard is all over this thing. The iShares, Spider, ARK. It's a darling within the institutional investing side. And the next thing that I do, I go over here and I go to IBD, Investors Business Daily, and let me type it in. Type in PACB, Pacific Biosciences, and I'll get the quote. And what I want to see, what's the accumulation and distribution? So are these shares being snatched up? Are they being purchased and bought? Accumulation, distribution. One of the IBD's Smart Select corporate ratings, it tracks the relative degree of institutional buying, accumulation, and selling, distribution in a particular stock over the last 13 weeks. A plus. When you get that plus on there, that's a winner. Now let's compare and contrast really quickly to one that I've been kind of beating down since it popped up in the chat room months ago. Genius Brands had a great story behind it. Global provider of entertaining content and products for toddlers and tweens. So it was going to, kind of compete against Cartoon Network. Well, accumulation, distribution, C. It's still a green light, but if you look over in the news, there's a class action lawsuit, September. And class action lawsuit deadline, it's never been a positive note except the irrational exuberance that popped up in the charts. I mean, in those chat rooms. I scroll down and I look at market cap. 282 million is not that bad, but I'd like $1 billion. But there's also the school of thought, if there was this had been an A plus and maybe over there with a lot of institutional buyers on Yahoo Finance, I could deal with this because that would mean there'd be room for exponential explosion. If this is a $48 million market cap, it's already inflated. So I would need the other caveats to really catch my attention. I I'll let Mo dig off into this when we have our call a little bit more as we get into the data. But we're running a process, and guys, you don't have to take this the exact way I'm doing it, but you can pick and choose. And so let's go back. We'll take Genius and go back over here again, and let's see. We had PACB now 87.94 for PACB. Let's compare that to Genius. And this is the reason I'm doing this is because we want to vet. We want to compare and contrast. We'll go to the holders. 87.94 compared to 19.9, and then aileron was I believe 16. Okay, which one do I want? I'll take I'll take I'll take PACB. Now we'll get to the charts in a second. Now the next one that was on the list for the Robinhood, the pumps, was Sonnet. Now all these stocks right here, they could possibly on a certain day, you could see an amazing spike. If you see it and you miss it, I'll go right to the chart. I had Sonnet up. Look at Sonnet. This thing, it did that spike back in March 29th of 2020. Spiked all the way up to the high of $54. Now it's down to $2.97. It's a biotech, so that you're gonna get wild fluctuations in price and swing. But now the way the RSI is moving, this is a daily chart. Looks like we have some strength coming in, some buying pressure. So this could pop in the morning. I do not know. Today's date is October 9th, 2020. Volume, I'd like to have 750,000 to a million daily. Very low volume, but okay, $9.99. Bam, there it is. Okay, we have an anomaly. Just crazy volume has come into this. This may be something to watch, guys. I might let's keep an eye on. I know this is coming out Friday, and tomorrow morning we're looking at SONN, and it might pop in the pre-market. But the reason I was showing you that is like when you see the volume, okay, volume's over here with my cursor, daily volume. You see the vertical line is like, okay, on that day of November 13th, 2019, volume was only 949 shares. Okay, look right below the cursor where it says volume. Okay, let's scroll over here. Well, on that day where it spiked, volume was only 661,000. And that's one of the biggest candles that we ranges in prices that we've seen. Let's see what we have on this big candle right here, 349,000. So think about this. We had 949 shares traded, 661,000, 349,000. We roll over here. I just saw 12 million. No, 2 million. Okay. This is crazy. 131 million shares sold. When you start seeing crazy volume spikes, now and we're talking about we're down at the bottom of this, when you see crazy volume, 131 million in a day, that's beware of that, but so if you do get in and it pops, expect the parabolic move to reach that height and you pull the chute, because it's not going to run and turn into the dark. It could, but the probability is low. This thing is a trick. They're going to pump this up. And I check news, guys. I don't want to take all night, but I want to give you, just as I'm going through this, the Daily Beacon, Novavax. You get your information, but you also have to look at the volume. the volume plays a key role. Now let's compare Genius. Let's go Genius, or Genius is GNUS. We go back here to the date of 2016. Volume 151,000. Price was, it closed at $1.85. Let me lower this down. I want to be able to see this a little bit closer. Zoom in. Here we go. That date is November 21st. 3,041. Next day, November 23rd, 1891. Let's go back. Volume's crazy. Not crazy. It's crazy low, but it spiked. We had a pop in price, basically a big gap in price, and I'm sure the news was probably a trading, somebody in the chat room saying Genius's content is going to be popping. And just like over here, I'm sure the volume was, you can see down here, the volume spikes are larger. But look at the pattern right here. When you see this, guys, if you're in a penny stock, even if it's one that we recommend, if it's going straight up like this and you got in at 78 cents. This thing made it to a high of $11.73. Take your profit. Take your profit. If you're going exponential return on investment, don't add more to your position, because you're going to have that, the greed factor will step in, and that's that emotional trader psychology that comes into play. Everybody, we all get it. Like, oh man, I put 2,000 in, and I've quadrupled my money. If I add another 3,000, and this it went from 78 to, $10, 78 cents to $10. It could go to 20, it could go to 15, it could go to, if it just goes to 11. And when it does that, the volume right here, you see the volume spike 409 million. Prior to that, 185 million, and then 47 million. A big volume. So let's go right here. Just start on the February 2020. 325 million. 1,000. 300,000. 60,000. 900,000. I see a million. 3.1 million. 1.0 million. Let's keep running. 510. I sound like one of those guys at the auctioneers. 1.8. Do I get a 289? Look at a 3, go a 7, get a 70, 159. Look at the it's all under $1 million. A couple of millions here and there, but got a 5 million, just anomalies popping in here and there. And all of a sudden, we're getting noise. You get 34 million. The day before, it was like 1 million. Day before that, let's see, it's almost like when somebody pops on Instagram, they had like 18 followers, and then there's that one piece of content that pushes them to that viral move. 561,000, 2 million, 1.7, 1.3, 34 on the date of May 6, 2020. Okay, and I do remember around May, folks were talking about Genius and where it was going. And the people who got in here, these are the ones who made the money. 34 million volume. So if you see that, if you see volume pop in like that, and you're looking at a penny stock, you don't want to see that. You don't want to be over here and that 34 million anomaly was back here. You want to be in this range, in the same. If you're trying to hop in, you want to be in there together. So 34 million, 33 million, 12 million, and the volume just, we look at the chart down here, it was going up on increasing volume, kind of faded down, up on increasing volume, and then 16, 22, 130, You see another anomaly. It's giving signals. It hasn't made that crazy spike because I mean it was 78 cents. It's just now like $2, 2.82. People can hop out and take the money. People were actually getting out and taking profit there. Ran up, popped that really high, took profit, got out. Irrational exuberance is coming in. So 27 million, 47 million, 185 million, 409 million. Get out. Take that. That's a beautiful. That's the run that is over. The next day it opened right there on this part of the candle. So it opened at $9.53. It closed the other day at seven. So almost a $2 over a $2 move. That next day it ran as high as 11.73, and then the air was beginning to suck out of it. RSI was overbought, and hit that peak, and you start seeing that. If you see these signs, guys, take your money, get your bag, go. Get your food, leave it in the car, and get out, just like Cube said, and straight jacking. As they're pulling the rug out. Anyway, I'm just showing you that part of the charts. And people were still trying to catch a falling knife. They were trying to buy it up right here, 151 million, 113 million. But this is selling pressure. All those people that came in over here, they are getting out. Guys got in at that the 1.7 million, the 134 million dudes got in at what's the open? Let's go even at $1. Go back over here, 102 million, 234 million. They were getting out. 80 million. Selling 71. Everybody's getting out. Then somebody tried to buy this thing back up. It got new life. Again, they said Genius is going to run to $9. I remember that. And this was that date, July. And pop goes a weasel. So the day 285 million, 170. And you can watch volume. And volume is just, back. It's got some crazy numbers here and there. And Genius could pop it at some point in time. I mean, the numbers are 156 million. Keep our eyes on it. I'm not a fan. If you see like 135 something million on it, maybe, possibly. Go to Pacific Bioscience, guys. This is a tale of a return to a previous high. We're going back, previous levels. As we look to the left, made that run, and I look all the way back over to the left and see that we had previously been at these levels before. Now, that's what happens with biotechs. So let's just look at the volume on this 979,000. Let me zoom in. Fine, let me get too far away. There we go. Right in here. 578,000, 6 million. I'm looking down here, and if something catches my eye, million, 703. I'm looking for 8 digits, 9 digits. If I see that's gonna catch my eye. All right, we have 7 figures. No big deal. We got that. Got 12 million. Nothing big yet. And I look for the volume spikes right here as well. That 12 million as I go further. Nothing outlandish that catches my attention. But one thing that began to kind of pop up on the screen is I was hearing recent noise about ARK Invest. Kathy Wood, I heard about that she was looking at Pacific Biosciences and their genomic makeup. And I like anything that deals with DNA and the human genome, the innovation, because CRISPR is another one, gene editing, and anything that's in that realm, I follow. Now we're overbought right now, but look at the volume that it comes in: 1.7 million, 861,749, 987, 1.6, 621, 1 million, 821, 5 million. Okay, that's cool. Let me get a little deeper. About 2,982,000. 20 million anomaly. Okay, cool. That that puts me in the thought process of, okay, we have some stuff going on. I know Genius had 35 million, things like that. Um, there's another spike. I like how with PACB the volume steadily increased, and it went from like 500,000, but it steadily stayed in those in the seven figures, consistently. It wasn't falling back down into the 500,000s. But when I saw that ARK and BlackRock were investors in that company, that's when I hopped in, and I bought quite a few shares. But I'm trying to find that one. There was an outlier at 12 million. I thought they had another 121 million. It was anyway. I'm gonna see it, guys. But the reason I'm doing this, the point I'm making is that my process is, if I'm gonna go on that penny stock, I want to see volume coming in and stay steady volume. I don't want to see. Now it's gone parabolic now over a period of weeks. It didn't go parabolic in like 2 days, and shoot, spike and pull back. Now we're overbought, definitely overbought, and it could come back and pull back to an area of support. Whether it comes back down to here, you know, uh, I'll look for news, or if I want to take profit, I take profit. But I think this company, I'm comfortable with the fact that the institutional buying has not dried up. It's still strong. That's one of my keys. The final thing I want to do, I know this is getting a little long-winded. I use FinViz. So we go within an innovative sector, a sector for disruptors, um, and we can go. You can go sector. I like technology. Go industry. We can go down to consumer electronics. I'm not paying for it. If we want to pay for it, we can get a little bit deeper. And the one that I like, I wanted to see AI. Hold on one second. Information technology. There we go. Instruments, semiconductor. You know what? We'll go the scientific and technical instruments, and let's see how that turns out. Now, price. This is how we filter, and then we can screen. We'll go under $10. we're already down to one page. Now I want my volume. Let's go over 750,000 average. That's sifting it down, and sort the market cap. I want to see. Okay, 1.87 billion, 3. Okay, pricing $6.87. Now let's look at the names. Fitbit, Microvision, Wrap Technologies. They're all in science technology. And let's look at the charts. Fitbit's charts, okay. Okay, right there within Microvision. Excuse me. Had a big gap up. Perception's already made its move, guys. So the one that I would want to see, let's put Fitbit, MVIS, Fitbit and MVIS, okay? we'll just go right over here and I'll type in fit. And this is like if somebody drops one of these tickers in the group, run it through this process. All right, I'm not worried about the composite rating because it could be. Well, I do pay attention to this but it might be a new stock, and it might not meet the criteria just yet. So we go down. Here's number one in that group. Accumulation distribution, C plus. It's still green. And market cap, we already know it's 2 billion. Morgan Stanley's the investment bank, so that's a good thing. Now, so if an investment bank is attached to this company, it has some skin in the game. So it's not a blank spot here to where we have somebody in a boiler room that's pumping this stock and sending out fake reports. We have Morgan Stanley's on the hook for this. Let's go to Yahoo Finance and put fit in there. Got that. Let's see the 52-week range, $3.30 to $7.26. Average daily volume, 5.8. Holders. The bent institutional investors are all in this one. Now, the float, Vanguard, BlackRock, that was in June. So I need to know, when are they still in it? Are they still in this? And let's see, we'll go to fit, we'll go to the volume, we'll go to the charts. And I mean, this is not telling me if BlackRock's still in there, but on the daily, oh my goodness. I don't like Fitbit, man. Sound like a little kid, but see if this works a little bit better. Yeah, man. We have to luck out on a penny stock like this, and this really isn't a penny stock. This is, it's under $10. It fits under innovation, but no thanks. The other one that we were looking at on the screener is MVIS. Let's see. Go right here, and I run through IBD. It's up 59%. Volume 10.8 million. Developing the pickup display technology for use in high-resolution miniature laser displaying imaging engines. All right. Accumulation distribution A-. I like that. What's the market cap? 320. Okay. There's chance for exponential growth. It's not crazy. Investment bank attached to it. Oppenheimer and Company. MVIS. Microvision stock sinks as market gains back in July. Implied volatility. All right, let's go to MVIS. See the holders, what's going on with it. It's not heavily held by institutions. That doesn't mean everything, but I love to see institutional participation. At $2.24. What's the 52-week range? 15 cents to 3. I think the move has happened. That's people got in there. Let's see what the chart looks like. Even though the chart was solid on FinViz. That's the weekly chart. That looks good. The reversal right there. But we've exhausted that. But it's not a flash in the pan. It's not one of. Now, Genius did that And when it sold off, there was a bearish candle up there, and it sold off, and it was a continual march down. We're in a bullish trend. That was a reversal. It's weird. Um, we have a lot of overhead supply, and if we look to the left, let's put the mark right there. This is one of the areas where it might fail again. Previous, I'm just looking at previous levels. Yeah, a lot of overhead. When I say overhead supply, there's a lot of price action above, a lot of buying up that way, and then sell-offs once it got to these levels. So you have people ready to, they got up here and this thing sold off. They're ready to get out at break even. When it gets back up here, nobody's trying to buy it up at that level. They're trying to get their money back for getting disrespected. So be careful with that. It doesn't pass the bar for me. I just wanted to show how I look at a few things. And again, sun looks so. The chart doesn't look good, but it was like some sneaky volume has come into this sucker, man. 2 million at the last minute, 400. So not, if it was worth 35 million, it would be crazy, but this might pop in the morning. It might be worth a look. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you for getting to the stock scouting report for this month, and take your time on it. Help build that process, a replicable process that you can take and you can move it to different options. I mean, when I say I'm talking about tickers, PRPO, Recipio was one that I remember people used to talk about. It was a 52-week range, 55 cents to $8. Holders, nobody's in this sucker, man. Nobody. We go to IBD, and I just remember people, and when you hear him talk about it in the moment, it because you feel it, you're like, I bought into this, man. I bought into Pegasus Gold years ago because Joe Kernan mentioned it on CNBC, man. I was like 20, whatever, man. I put some money in that. I was like, this thing gets up to $4. I'm buying in at 28 cents. That thing went to like 0.00001 of a penny. That's why I don't like Joe Kernan right now. And it's not his fault. That's my fault that I didn't have a process. I bid on just the popularity of it. He was probably already getting out of that thing. PRPO provides diagnostic products and services to the anything in the biotech, man. People can catch on because if you catch and you hit, it can really hit. But there's so many that are going to latch on to COVID right now and might not really be viable after COVID. But PRPO, it's a B on the accumulation distribution. Institutional participation is zero. Investment bank, not applicable. Market cap 38 million should have never been a consideration. So it didn't pass. It didn't have an investment bank attached to it. Market cap was very low. Market cap can be in the hundreds of millions, which is cool. You want the billion when you have comfort, but if you have a strong investment bank, strong investment institutional participation, and the insiders aren't in control of all the shares, we're comfortable with a lower market cap, like a micro cap type thing. So PRPO, I bet it had the same chart pattern as Genius, where people stole that money. And it's back over there. Let me get this right, man. Folks are going to get that. They're going to push that up, and they get that cash and get ghost. $2017, it popped. It ran up to $198. $198. and the volume was only 467. So that's, you know, it did that probably upon its IPO. Imagine getting in up here, 198, and the stair step down, and then just the winter of nothing, of nothing. Volume, $10, and then we get out here to recent times. Now this is where that's the genius syndrome right there. You telling me you're gonna buy more? People stayed in that. 97 million, 13 million, 291,000. Okay, that's, yeah, okay. Like I always say, the Qs on Gramblin's campus can put enough money together to move this market right now when it's only 200. The float is 291,000 shares. Then it goes to 2 million, and it stays in the middle. You know, it stays up there a little bit, and that 97 million right there. The next day, inside bar, 20 million. They're exiting. 28 million tried to buy it back up, but the bears got back on them, and they got out. Yeah, we can check the volume. You can check the price, the spikes. You can watch your RSI. Add your your criteria, your checklist. If it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass the smell test. But and the news story should be maybe one of the last things that drive this, you know, because I was listening to a podcast where a guy was like, you know, he knew some guys that they could do the pump and dump, and they concoct really, really good stories surrounding the sector that they're in. Like when cannabis hit a few years ago, there was a cigar company. One thing they tried to do, they tried to align themselves with cannabis, and said they were connected with, you know, different cannabis companies, and it didn't work. Well, then they said all of their cigars are filed with contain blockchain technology. They added blockchain technology to it, and that thing popped. And it had, so you can have a charismatic marketing campaign, but there's no substance behind it. So what we're looking for, you just have to have a process and put it together. I don't really like messing with penny stocks because you have to sift through a lot of noise, and it's a lot of luck involved. But if we look for innovators, you know, what bots was previously, it was close to being down there. I'm gonna go ARC, the ARC suite, ARC restaurants, ARC autonomous. That's what, guys. One more thing. You do a screen. Let's see if we can clear that filter. All right. You want to go in the sector of artificial intelligence, or you want to go 3D printing. So, top 3D printing stock. Stocks 2020. Let's see what comes up. All right. HP, Protolabs. That's the one that ARK invests in, NNDM. All right. Getting a lot of love right now. And the name, and Mo really gets onto this. He says, you know, names have the branding. The name has sticking power. It's something that he studied. But in baseball, I look at rosters, man, and if a name stands out too, sometimes, I mean, I look at talent, I look at what they do, but anything that catches my attention, you know, people, numerology, things like that, they have a place in investing. Okay. Penny stock. NNDM. Nano Dimension Ltd. Israeli developer of 3D printer related ink materials for electronic circuit board printing. Okay, perfect. Boom. I like the sector. It's an innovative sector. It's fairly unknown. We're rolling down and we'll check that out. Accumulation distributions. B, it's green. Cool. I'm good. Market cap 64 million. Room for growth. Where's the investment? I know investment bank. But I want to see something. Sales growth up 175% over the last 3 years. Shares outstanding. Okay, let's go right over here in NDM. $52-week range, 51 cents, 49. It's in between that move. You know, the move it's pushing, but hey, who knows how high it can go or how low it will go. See what who the holders are. Very low institutional investing. ARK Invest is just now coming into this. I'm gonna look at the chart. Not this. This hasn't passed the criteria yet. In NDM, there might be a see these volume spikes right here. That's what I'm thinking has just recently happened. $660,000. Boom. That's selling pressure. 331 million. But that was actually buying pressure initially, but that's a weird one, man. Now, hold on. This big volume coming in. 18 million. 1,400. There it is. 119 million. That's, I think the institutional investors have come in September, and maybe it has not been reported. 19 million, 11 million. Worth watching. Got a bull flag setting up, little coil. I'm still skeptical, but I've seen news on it, and I've seen information that Kathy Wood of ARK Invest is interested. So I think it's worth maybe looking at. Then the stock is trading lower today, trading higher. Sympathy or overall market. President Trump tweeted, "The news is going to, it's going to move these, but we need volume. You need something coming in. You need to have, you're almost reading the tea leaves to see that, hey, there's some interest in this, but it doesn't pass the test." I keep saying this is the final thing, but we put NNDM right here. We'll go to home, put it in this, NNDM. Scroll down. Nano Dimension, technology, computer hardware, Israel. Click that. It's going to pull up that list of stocks. Computer hardware, we'll go price. Instead of under 10, we'll go under 7. See, thins it out. Let's go average volume. And we see it over there in my face, but I want to go over 750K. It might really thin it out. Okay. Shares outstanding, no big deal. Market cap. And micro under 300 million. I went under 2 billion, and that thins it out, but it's right in our face. So I'm just showing you that's another filter that you can use. The micro minis or the nanos, under 50 million. We'll mess with that. We'll see what's happening with that one day. But just as long as under 2 billion, we've gotten that covered. And prices, all in computer hardware out of China. I'd be wary about that for right now. We missed a move on DDD. Now this sector is, there are disruptors in this sector. But this is how you find, you can do a deep dive, do a little bit further digging for stocks in a certain criteria in a certain price range for yourself. If you're looking, you won't have to lean on uh, the chat rooms. So, guys, that's a wrap, and I will see you at the next group connection when we have a discussion on the October edition. You know, the innovators under $10. All right, enjoy, be safe.